Hey, what's going on, guys? Today, as you can see behind me, I have my 1995 GMC Suburban. Yes, you heard that right, GMC Suburban. For those of you who don't know, GMC hasn't made a Suburban since 1995. They changed it to Yukon and Yukon XL, which is basically a Suburban. They just, I guess it was a branding thing. And I'm about to do a tune-up on this thing. This thing only has 47,000 miles, original owner. Found it on Craigslist. Anyway, look at my other videos for the story on this thing. I just got a whole bunch of ACDelco parts off Amazon. As you can see, I got the original equipment spark plugs, just a standard OEM ACDelco. Original equipment spark plug wire set, a oil filter, because I'm gonna change the oil. All right, so there's the rotor, because I'm gonna change the cap and rotor on this thing. Air filter in the big box, probably cap here, yeah, distributor cap, fuel filter, PCV valve also. All right, guys, so first thing I'm gonna do is take off this air cleaner, just so I can get to, you know, all the spark plug wires and spark plugs and distributor cap and rotor and all that stuff very easily. Looks like there's only 2 bolts so far that I'm seeing. So I just got the air cleaner off, the whole filter assembly, and this thing, which I was looking down there, and it looks like this is just for heat coming off of the exhaust manifolds, because there's obviously no port off of the exhaust manifold that's sucking up exhaust into the filter area. It's just heat. It's weird. And when I look at the bottom of this thing, there's actually a little valve in there that shuts off, maybe with a certain temperature or something. That thing, clearly it's just a shielding of some kind that's situated around the exhaust manifold in order to collect heat. I'm guessing that makes it run better, maybe on cold startups or something like that. Okay, so I've taken off all the spark plug wires. I'm about to take off the spark plugs, but I'm going to show you, I took the wires off and mapped out exactly where they went as far as on the distributor cap and the motor. So the numbers are only the order in which I did them in. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, and basically they're mapped out to exactly, number 2 goes up there. You can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about there. It was the only way I could think to do it. I do not own a Chilton book or anything like that, so I just decided to map it out. I'm gonna start pulling the spark plugs out, replacing those. Then I'm gonna pull off the distributor cap and rotor and replace those. The hardest thing to do about all this stuff so far is these little clips. I mean, these things are like on there. Like, to get the little piece out, like this one broke off, which is awesome. They were extremely hard, and there's so many of them. And then one of them is even facing down, like where you'd have to get the clip off, like down in the back of the motor. I don't even understand how GM would have expected someone to get that off. And that also tells me that I don't think that these wires were ever replaced. These are probably the original wires that were on this truck, and this truck is 20 years old. I haven't had any problems, but I'm basically doing preventative maintenance right now, trying to get all this stuff replaced now so I don't have to worry about it later on and have problems. Crossing my fingers that I don't create problems by doing this, but I don't think I will, because I'm using all genuine, you know, ACDelco parts. So we'll see how the rest of this goes. I'm about to start pulling out the spark plugs. Changed out all the spark plugs. I noticed that the ones that I pulled out are auto light, so these must have been changed at some point. There's the clean side, then there's the kind of toasted up side. I put in ACDelco, gapped them to 0.035. By the way, if any of you guys are wondering, hopefully you have this sticker still. My spark plug gap is 0.035. So basically I just take this little gapper and just, you know, all of them were pre-gapped to, like, I think it was 0.045. So I kind of closed it down a little bit just by pressing it in with the tip of this, and then widen it back up until it slid up to 0.35. Now my next step is to take the cap right there and then the rotor, which is underneath that. Hopefully that thing comes out easy. I'm sure it will. There's only 2 screws. I do have to actually like sit inside of the motor. I put my butt here and just kind of sit and so I can get in far enough to reach that. Okay, so here's a little FYI. The bit you need to reach this screw down there at the bottom is metric, and it's 5.5 millimeters. I had to use a ratchet piece and then an adapter to go into this. So 5.5 millimeters to get to your cap, distributor cap, to take that off. So there it is. We got the cap and rotor off. The rotor was kind of hard to get off. You just have to pull it really hard, straight up. It's indexed, you can see, so you're not going to have any problems as far as realigning it. It's indexed with that little key there. This is the new one, and you can see inside there's a little key that slides right into the slot. This is the old one, and you can see how worn that is. This has to be original. So I'm glad I'm replacing this. A lot of voltage that goes through there. This is the original cap, which looks like it's in pretty good shape. It says Delco Remy, made in USA. But when you look inside, you can see how much corrosion has been going on. Hopefully you guys can make that out. Tons of corrosion in there. It's good that I'm changing these out. I'm curious if I could clean those up and keep them as like backups just in case. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw some grease on this thing so that it slides on easier. So the cap and rotor are installed. Exactly the same as taking it off, but with the rotor, all you're doing is pressing it on. I put a little bit, I have this green grease. The metal part of the distributor shaft, the very top where the rotor pushed onto, was a little bit kind of like rusty, like a light dusting of rust on there. So I just took a little tiny bit of that grease, like I'm talking a tiny bit, and just kind of rubbed it on the top of there. And then I put the rotor on and just pressed it really hard, and it just slid right on. So that was in the exact same spot. Like I said, it's keyed, so you can't put it on wrong. I put the new distributor cap on and screwed down the screws. Now remember, this thing is plastic, so you just screw them down to where they're snug. You don't want to overdo it, because then you're going to crack it. You got to buy a new distributor cap and wait for it to be shipped, and it's really going to make you have a bad day. In order to get some of the spark plugs out, you know, you use your standard 3/8 inch ratchet, but you're gonna need a 3-inch extension. No matter what, you're gonna need a 3-inch extension, so make sure you get this. A 6-inch is too long for some of them on the driver's side, and the reason being is the steering column just gets in the way. So if you have a 3-inch, you're golden, and actually you can use this for every single one of them, and you don't even have to worry about a longer extension if you don't want, but 3-inch, 3/8 ratchet extension. Okay, so here's another little quick tip for you guys. The boot with the flat head goes on the distributor cap, and the boot with the rounded head, which is also brown in this case, goes on the spark plug. I saw someone when I bought these on Amazon was complaining that they didn't know which one went to where. It's pretty easy to tell, because with the ones you take off of the distributor cap have a flat head just like this. So just keep that in mind when you're putting these on. There is a direction in which they go. Look down in the description below of all these videos, and I'll have links to all this stuff on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon sells ACDelco everything. So look on Amazon. I'll put the links down below that takes you directly to all the parts that I bought for my truck. Okay, all of the plug wires are on. You can see I've routed them to the best of my recollection as far as how they were when they came out. Right now is a really good time to replace your Pcv valve. Pcv valve location is right here. This is your Pcv valve coming out from the upper intake manifold, and it's right there. It's a super simple thing to replace, so why not spend the 10 bucks and just replace it? I'm gonna do that now. Okay guys, there's the old Pcv valve. Pretty old. It says AC Rochester. Yeah, this is the original one from 20 years ago. After doing that complete tune-up, it seems very nice. It's not like, you know, I'm not seeing like you know, tons of horsepower gains or anything like that. I mean, the truck runs really smooth. It did before, but I did notice before that the power, especially, you know, upon takeoff, felt pretty weak. That's the one thing I can say, is that after this tune-up with all new plugs, wires, you know, cap and rotor, fuel filter, Pcv valve, when I take off from a dead start, like at a stoplight, I can definitely tell that the pickup is just like instant, whereas before it seemed to not hesitate, but it just seemed a lot weaker. But yeah, the truck is running great, and I'm really happy that I did this tune-up. Seems that everything went well, and you know, I had to re-gap the plugs. I think they were pre-gapped from the factory, like at 0.045 maybe, or something like that. And my this Suburban calls for 0.035. So that was kind of a pain in the neck, especially because when you're using your gapper, it's like, you know, you don't know if you have it too tight or whatever. So I don't know. I'm hoping I didn't gap them too small of a gap, because even though I had the gapper in there at 0.035, it was fairly tight, you know. But anyway, the truck seems to be running really well, so I don't think there's a problem at all. That's that for the tune-up. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see more videos regarding this 95 GMC Suburban. I'm going to be posting lots more videos of all the different fixes and all the different things I do to this thing. It's kind of like my new toy, so yeah, it's gonna be a lot of videos coming, so I'll see you soon. Peace out.